Everyone to the Tier 2 feature race at Blue Moon Bay. Obviously, round 2. Go and check out the sprint race if you haven't seen it already, because this grid will spoil the result of the sprint race. In terms of the grid, obviously, it's a reverse grid of the sprint race results. So we've got Reno King starting out in pole, followed by Sir Hims, Mighty Minismani, Woozy, Noble, Smells of Funk, DDK, Andy, Bo, D-Zerbo, Payan, Tapshio, Rossform, Chris, Alex, and Jack, and Owen, who won the sprint race. Gonna go and see how everyone gets along in this feature race. We do have Chrissy leading the standings at this point with a 4-point lead over Owen, sorry. After that, it's about a 10-point drop to to Rossform, sorry, and Payan. Both of them two are pretty far behind. You can see there's a couple moves going on there in the back of the grid. It looks like the two Jags actually getting a move done. So Hims looking for a switchback on Reno King. The feature race you can start on whatever compound you like, so we will see a bunch of different tyre strategies right now. Reno goes in far too deep there, sliding and taking out 3 other drivers in the process, dropping all the way down to P12. Mighty Minismani with a decent start there in P2. I think Smells of Funk's had a really good start here. I recall him starting pretty far, not pretty far back, but not too far forward, like sort of maybe 6th, 7th, and he's already up to P2, which is crazy good work considering it is a feature race and it's a rolling start. Sir Hims has absolutely checked out here. About a 2.5 gap to Smells of Funk, who himself has about a 2.5 gap to Annie Winters. And then the chaos begins from P3 down. Mighty Minismani going for a move here. It looks like the 4GT is absolutely rapid. Wow, look at that top speed there. Absolutely destroying the Aston on the straight line speed. Mighty Minismani is going to be car lengths ahead by the braking zone. DDK looking for a move down the inside. Looks like it was a little bit of contact there, some smoke. Really nice move from DDK, keeping it very narrow there. Mighty Minismani making a dreadful mistake there as he's spinning around in circles, and a BO2603 going wide as well, and this is going to really separate the grid a little bit here. It looks like there's more incidents there with some more cars going off in the background. Beautiful camera shot there as we've got the aerial view of the first hairpin of the lap. Chrissy is up in P8. Where's his championship rival? Owen. I can't see him on the grid on the list here, so it looks like he must be a little bit further back. Very promising start from Chrissy here. Let's go and look at this battle here. It looks like there might be a move happening over here. It is DDK, and he'll probably struggle to get alongside Andy Winters. Doesn't quite have the straight line speed of Mighty Minismani, but up ahead, Smells of Funk has absolutely caught Sir Hims in just one lap. He's caught a massive amount of time, and he's now ahead. You can see he caught over a second on that lap there. Sir Hims drops to P2. Andy Winters setting similar times to Sir Hims, followed by DDK. Then we go back to Payan and Tapshooter. These two couldn't be separated for 15 minutes of a sprint race. It looks like we might be seeing a similar here in the feature race. They held each other up so much and probably could have got a bit better results if they weren't battling so much in the sprint race. It'll be interesting to see if they learn from their lesson and work together rather than against each other in this feature race. Because they definitely do have the pace to get at least one of their cars on the podium. We'll see if they can do it this time round. Bo getting very squirrely there on the exit. That's not lag either. That was just pure sliding from the Brit. Really nice exit. So close to the wall there from the Aston Martin driver. He's not going to have the pace to catch the Jags, but it's giving him a bit of confidence, I guess. Getting a really nice exit like that. Speaking of straight line speed, the Mercedes is not one that lacks in that department. Going down the inside of the championship leader here, Woozy, the Finnish driver. Gets ahead by the braking zone. Can he spot his braking point? He can, and he gets it stopped on the apex. And he's going to take P8 from Chrissy here. Chrissy, so much more confidence though in section 2. Hitting the apex beautifully, and he's going to get alongside there. Really nice move. The Porsche will have the advantage in the slow speed corners with its much better turning than the Mercedes, so he should be able to keep this move. touching the grass a little bit there, but he's perfectly fine. Really nice move there from Chrissy. Back to this battle here that we saw earlier between Payan, Tap Shooter, BO, and whoever P4 is. I think it's Andy Winters. And yeah, they just looked to separate a little bit more just as I came along on board with them. Tap Shooter is actually up to, sorry, not Tap Shooter, DDK is up to P3. Really solid from him so far. Two McLarens first and third. I'm sure they would take that result any day of the week at the end. It looks like Chrissy's been overtaken by Woozy yet again on the straight, but this time he gets back ahead earlier on into the lap, and he hopes to set a really solid sector 2 here to pull away. Jack is up to P9 as well. He'll be another one that is really, never mind, he won't be challenging Chrissy. Not yet anyway. I'm sure he'll be back there later on. Obviously the winner of, no, second place, sorry, of the sprint race, so he does have the pace, just didn't have the tyre life. Rostom getting his stop very nicely there, leaving room for Woozy on the outside. And Owen is up to P11 now. Looks like he's had a pretty clean race, just a bit slower at getting through the field than some of the other contenders. Pretty awkward line there. You can see he's losing some time to the car ahead. He sort of had to step on the brakes and like get out of throttle a little bit after the apex, which is not the way to take a corner. Rena King really seems to be struggling here on the soft tyres, and he's dropped from what, P1 to P13. I know he had that incident, but still, Dzerbo as well must have been involved in an incident. At 1 minute 25 lap time on lap 2 is not ideal for his races. He sets the fastest lap of the race so far on medium tyres. Dzerbo showing that he's not one to be messed with. I wonder how he'll perform later on tonight in round 3 at Road Atlanta, a really difficult circuit. It'll be really interesting, and obviously we'll get that video up for you guys at some point next week. Let us know what you're thinking about these post-commentary races. Obviously it's the best we can do right now with the lack of commentators available for decent prices. So yeah, just let us know what your thoughts are on this solution. Quite a few drivers pretty close here. If you look at the mini-map, sort of P4 to about P10, very close together. The top 3 are a few seconds up the road here. Andy Winters didn't have the best result in the first race, but he had a P4 in the sprint race last week, so he does have the pace in certain circumstances. He had a very strong end to the tier 3 season last season. That's what got him his move up to tier 2. He has had experience in tier 2 as well a few seasons ago, but he spent a season or two down in tier 3 and really improved drastically throughout the season last time round, which it was great to see a driver working hard and improving and reaping the rewards on race days with a couple wins and podiums to his name. Tap Shooter getting overtaken by his teammate. Yeah, again, these Jags cannot avoid each other. Little mistake from Tap Shooter might mean they get a car in between each other if BO is close enough. Bit of a poor line from Tap Shooter there into that corner, as he wasn't accounting for the grass on his tyres, but BO will not be able to get the move done with his 1.5 second penalty, which will probably drop him down behind Chrissy. In fact, yeah, it does. I think he'll be far enough ahead from P9, but we'll have a look. He's done very well to get himself a penalty here. I find this track is very difficult to get a penalty. You can seemingly sort of abuse the track limits. As long as you've got a tyre on the curb, you'll be perfectly fine. Not sure where to keep an eye on. We've got sort of 3 battles on track. We've got P2 and P3 that are fighting quite a bit. Let's go on board with DDK. He's got something to prove, really, as we mentioned before. Hasn't really set the world alight so far this season after an incredible debut season at ALR in the Mazda last season. So we'll see if he can kickstart his season this time out in round 2. Obviously better to kickstart it now than later on. Really revving out this McLaren, which I've actually driven this McLaren and I would not drive it like this personally. It's a car that doesn't really gain too much in the later end of its rev range, so I feel like short shifting it slightly and saving some fuel is more beneficial. But you know, he's the one in the podium, so I'm sure it's working for him. Already had almost 10 laps of his race going, that's crazy. Then again, it is only 10 minutes in with the 9 laps. Does look like DDK is a bit more confident here than Sir Him's just up ahead. But we'll see if he can get the move done. Looks like Sir Hims might be on mediums. He looked to be very slow through that corner there, but I know the Mercedes is very poor on traction, so that might not be the case. But yeah, DDK able to brake later, gets the move done. You can see Sir Hims in his right hand mirror there. Really nice view here. You can see the inputs and the gearing that he's using and everything. Stands first there for that hairpin, even on the exit. Turning slightly too early, little correction in the midpoint, but manages to avoid the wall beautifully there from DDK. Really nice lap from him on board there, and this is going to be a pretty solid lap time. I reckon like a mid 107, even with the overtake. 107.8, very solid lap, and yeah, really good lap to be on board with him as well. I think this battle is probably the best one to be on board with now. The battle for P4, Andy Winters, who came P9 in race 1, battling with Pine, who came in P6 with a couple of incidents as well. Definitely has potential to come slightly higher up. Really nice gear shift there into second, smoothless transition onto the throttle, and you see the exit speed he got in comparison to Andy Winters was absolutely insane, and he's probably going to get this move done now. The Aston is not blessed with straight line speed, the Jaguar is narrowly avoiding contact there and a bump draft. And I tell you what, surprisingly, Sir Hims hasn't really lost much time to DDK up ahead in P2. You can see those two very close together. Andy Winters, no way you pulling this off, mate. Really late on the brakes, sort of caught Payan napping there with the late switchback. Beautiful move, so clean as well to get it stopped along the inside. But Payan with some beautiful driving there, defensive, staying ahead. Both drivers on the medium tyres actually. Someone's in the pits. Who is that in the pit lane already? Reno King in the pits already. He's absolutely destroyed his rear tyres. Must have been drifting his way around the circuit to destroy them in 10 laps. You expect this circuit to be a rear limited circuit. The front right is the one that you'd expect to wear more often. Obviously the rears will wear more if you're sliding everywhere. But if you keep them within the limits, it will be that front right that's always hot and always wearing, especially through these banked corners. We got DDK coming into the pits now. I'm trying to go on board with him, but it won't let me. That's very weird. Tap shooter as well coming into the pits. Let's try and go this way. We got Jack and Owen neck and neck. Neither of them two go into the pits. Rostorm also staying out. Did I see actually? Tap shooters on mediums into the pits already, just in a very short stint there. They're going to come out quite far back. This is a track where it feels like no matter where you are, whenever you pit, you always come out last. Jack going very wide there, a little bit on the grass. This might open the opportunity up for Owen in that Mitsubishi Lancer Evo. Takes a look down the inside. He's going to have to be a bit more, what's the word, convincing, I guess, is that the one? Not quite, but he did get the move done in the end. Committed, that was the word I was looking for there. Christie with a fantastic stint, as well as Andy Winters as well. Both of them done really well to get up ahead. There's a really big gap to Owen and Jack and the like further back. Two-stop strategy is probably the one you'd expect to see here. One run on the mediums followed by 2 soft runs. Obviously it doesn't have to be in that order, as you've got a 3-way battle here. As DDK pitted, I assume he has. He's either pitted or made a mistake. Let's look at his tyres. Yeah, freshly out the pits there. Personally, Ross Thorne, a little bit of an incident. You see him sideways there on the track. I believe it's 46 laps here, or 36 laps here. I think 36 sounds about right. I think it was 13, 10 was the ideal strategy. Obviously doing more laps on your soft compounds, because although they wear quicker, they are so much quicker than the medium tyres here, just due to the nature of the circuit. Gran Turismo really is a beautiful game when you just take a moment to sort of appreciate it, this 60 FPS HD gameplay that we're treated to here. Let's see if there's any battles anywhere else. I was just sort of admiring the gameplay there. I think I saw D-Zerbo. No, D-Zerbo wasn't close to someone. Here we go. This looks like it is the closest battle, so it is the battle that we were already on, actually. Do you know what? Whilst the drivers are quite far apart, let's go and compare a driver who hasn't performed so well so far, and see the difference in sort of driving styles and where the time comes from. Because obviously this is a circuit where we're seeing quite a big difference here in Tier 2 between the top guys and the end guys. I think we saw someone get lapped in the sprint race. So I just want to see the difference, because we've been on a lap with that understeer far too early on the power, of course, and all that understeer. And this is just sort of the difference between the top guys and the guys who are struggling here. But as we come to another track, it might be the fact that Mighty Mini Smiley here absolutely loves it and goes and sticks it on pole. That is the beauty with Aero League racing, is you never know who is going to be at the top each week. Obviously you have a couple people who will be title favourites who will always be towards the top, but there's always the opportunity for someone random that seems to have struggled throughout the season to just come and stick it on pole and get a race victory, as we saw plenty of times in last season. I think we had 7 or 8 race winners in Tier 2. This actually looks like a pretty good lap from Mighty Mini Smiley here. He is on soft tyres, he is on fresh soft tyres. And this does look like a solid lap to me. Let's see what his time is. 1:07.1, so that's around 2 seconds off what you'd see the top guys do on softs in Tier 1. Which is just pretty much just commitment, to be honest, and obviously the mistake he made out here, which he's done again. So that will be costing him at least half a second doing that every lap. So Hims really comfortable in P1. Do you know what? I think he's going for the one stop here, so Hims. To do 16 laps on the medium compound tyre. If he can stretch this to about 20 laps, he'll easily do a one stop. 20 to 22 laps is what I'd expect, which is a fantastic strategy if you can get it to work, but it depends if he can. If he can have the confidence to stretch his tyres. So far on both stints, Owen has come into the pits whilst we've been chatting with you guys, and then DDK has got past DeZerbo and Annie Winters. As Andy is another person to get past DeZerbo. DDK driving right through the camera there. It looks like DeZerbo's tyres are completely gone. He's really struggling to get that car turned in there on the left-handers. As we suspected, it is the front right that's really making him struggle here as he clips the wall yet again. Actually, 2 people clip the wall behind him as well, so it's not just him struggling so much. He's going to stay out for at least one more lap though. Andy Winters is on fresh soft, so will he be able to make a move over DDK? Looks like he's just falling off the back a little bit here though. All of a sudden, a little mistake, and we have 4 cars instantly together. Zerbo on his old tyres, really struggling here. I believe all these guys around him are on fresh tyres. It looks like they are. They are indeed. As he gets passed by 3 cars in just one sector, and surely it's time to come in there for the BMW driver. No. He must be going for a one-stop as well. I'd be surprised if this pays off for him, considering how worn his tyres are. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Chrissy down in P8, still ahead of his championship rival, which is the main thing. They're both on the same strategy, and he's got about 4 to 5 second advantage over Owen, which obviously currently he has a 4-point advantage. So, you know, anything extra is an absolute bonus for him. De Zerbo going for a move on BO 2603 with Chrissy trying to look down the inside. He's broken so late there, Chrissy, to get around BO, who performs a switchback. And this is a beautiful battle between these 3 drivers here. Absolutely incredible race, and De Zerbo goes a little bit wide on his old tyres. Chrissy makes 2 positions up on his fresh softs, and BO and De Zerbo are still going at it here. Beautiful driving from these guys. De Zerbo stays out yet again. He is going for the one-stop for sure now, we can confirm that. Sahim's obviously going for that as well, as we predicted very early on. But I think his tyres are definitely in good enough shape. He's done fantastically to keep these medium tyres, especially in the Mercedes-AMG, which isn't known for its tyre life. You can see how smooth his inputs are here, really just driving within the limits of the car, not pushing it at all. But still managing to get the lap times out. You know, 108 is about a second off where he could be driving in this car. But just playing it cautious and sort of keep it on the road, he saves all the pit time. And look at the gap he has to P2 Andy Winters. That is about 15 seconds, his gap, with just a couple laps left to go before he needs to pit. He will have to do a long soft stint, so he will lose some time, but I think Sahims is my bet for the win here. Unless there's anyone else who doesn't have to pit that I'm completely missing, I think Sahims has got this in the bag with an absolutely incredible strategy and incredible driving to keep these medium tyres in life, basically. Further back though, we've got Tap Shooter and DDK once again at neck and neck. Smells of Funk as well, just behind. Could Smells of Funk go to the end from here? 15 laps? Yeah, he probably could. He could go to the end, so he is another bet actually. If he's pitted, which he has, he's pitted a few laps ago, he's going to the end on these mediums if he can keep them in life. That's... Joy, he might be ahead. He might be ahead of Sir Hims when Sir Hims comes out to stop, so it might not be all over for Sir Hims actually. Is there anyone else yet to pit? Or not having to pit again? I'm sure DDK will have to pit again. Yeah, he will. He pitted lap 12. He's not going to take that mediums all the way to the end. Anyone on softs will for sure have to pit, and I think anyone this far back will be too far behind as De Zerbo comes into the pits. He'll be going up to the end for a set of softs. About 15 lap stint left to go for him. Look how far behind he is compared to Sir Hims, though. I can't see him finishing in the top 5 at all. He'll do well to get top 10 from here, De Zerbo. We'll see if Sir Hims will come into the pit soon. His front right is now dead, so his lap times will be struggling even more. You can see 2/10 slower through the first 2 sectors compared to last time we watched him. Having to take that corner a lot slower than last time we watched him as well, and still clipping the wall. Will he come to the pits this time round? Let's have a look. From the Spaniard, it's very narrow here. Yeah, and there he is, ducks into the pit lane. 21 laps on those medium compound tyre, judged to perfection. I actually use this car and I know it's about 2.5% per lap, so a little bit of fuel saving as well. 4% per lap, even not 2.5% per lap, 20 laps in total. So yeah, he's fuel saved a little bit to keep them going. Andy will be going to the end from here as well, and this sort of opens up the race here. You can see top three very close together, DDK and Tapshire. This McLaren livery I absolutely love. I said it every week, but yeah, the McLaren team and the Jaguar team seem to have a very good week this week. Always seemingly near the front, overperforming expectations. Be interesting to see who is selected for the drive for the day. In terms of the drive of the day selection, normally we have the person who scores the most points in the week, and then two other drivers who are very consistent between both races. We'd rather pick someone who came, say, third and fourth in the two races, and someone who sandbagged the sprint and then got pole in the feature and won it. Little incident there from DDK, clipping the wall, and that might put him under pressure from his teammate, who doesn't have to pit, and I believe DDK does have to pit, so it'll be interesting to see if they swap things round. Line astern here from the two McLarens. And there we go, DDK does lift off. He'll have to come into the pit soon, actually, with his fuel. And yeah, PC will be going to the end. Tapshooter will also be coming in soon. He'll be going for another soft stint. You'd probably expect him to come at the end of lap 24, will be my estimate. End of the next lap, but we'll see. He might have the fuel actually to get there. Chrissy's got plenty of fuel left. I'm not sure why he fueled up so much when it definitely wasn't needed. Defo cost him some time running around with a full fuel tank. You always want to fill up literally just enough to get you to your next stop. So you're running lighter in your car. Probably cost him about 2 or 3 tenths a lap running all this extra unnecessary fuel, to be honest. But he's still performing very well as he's coming into the pits now off his soft compound tyre. He won't have to refuel now at least, which is a benefit for him. As the two McLarens assume the lead of the race, followed by Payan in the Jaguar, Jack in the Nissan, and it looks like Sir Hims is going to come out. He's going to be in P5 after the pit stops. And you can see the gap he has up ahead to PC. What is that gap? 20 seconds and 8 seconds. Yeah, about a 12 to 15 second gap. We'll call it 15. That's about right, and I think that's going to be too much for Sir Hims to catch up here. He's going to have to get a second each lap, as De Zerbo sets the fastest lap of the race, a 106.3. I'm sure that will be beaten by someone. I'd be surprised if we don't see anyone in the 105s today. Really nice driving from Hims here. I'll be interested to see what kind of lap times he can do, and then we can take a look at Snores of Funk and see if we predict he's going to get anywhere near him, as we see Jack and DDK both coming into the pit lane. .107.1, that's not going to be quick enough. Yeah, just half a second he's catching compared to PC. Payan will have to pit again. We don't need to worry about him for the battle for the lead, but Chrissy on a fresh soft is going to go flat out to the end. He's only 10 seconds behind Sir Hims. Can he do it? That is the question. Really nice line there through the fast chicane from Chrissy. Okay, right slowed down here. The first gear in the Porsche is like a handbrake, and he opts not to use it this time round. Obviously just feels more comfortable staying in second, but you can use it if you just switch down to first. It will literally just get your car rotated pretty much instantly, but it just depends if it suits people's styles. Really nice exit there from Chrissy. .106.9. What are these guys doing behind? 107s, 107s. Maybe the lap times in Tier 2 are just not as good this week. But I was expecting a bit more than that. I think this is the closest battle on track. Both of them on fresh tyres. Andy with slightly more fuel and slightly more tyre wear. But he does look like he's really pressurising tap here. Listen to that beautiful engine sound there from the Aston Martin and the Jag. Both very good sounding cars. "10 minutes to go of this race, and I'll be honest, the only thing I think needs to happen from now to the end is Payan has a pit stop to make. Apart from that, I think things are going to stay relatively similar from here till the end. But you know, we'll see. Something's happened to Chrissy here. I'm actually going to rewind this and see what happened. He's well ahead here. He just goes wide and makes a mistake. Oh, wow. That could be costly from the Porsche driver. I'll be honest, I was just watching silently there. And he's dropped down to P5. I'm not sure where Owen is in all of this. I haven't seen him all race, really. It looks like he's further back. Maybe P9 or 10, so it looks like Chrissy's still going to be ahead, and there's more contact there. All of a sudden, this race has come alive. Jack and DDK having some incidents. Payan is still on the back of Tap Shooter as we're watching this consistently. Really close racing here between these guys. I'm tempted to go on board and see properly what's happening, and I also want to see what's going on at the end of this train towards the back. As you can see, the top two are so far ahead here. It's actually a battle. No, it's just PC lapping someone. Yeah, let's go look a little bit further back. What's happening here? Owen in P9. You can see these guys in his sights. He's on soft tyres. We saw the pace he had in the sprint race. So he will be looking to see if he can catch up to these guys and sort of make an impact on their race. What's going on up ahead? Payan looking for a move on Tap Shooter, can't get it done. Andy Winters and Jack side by side. Jack running that wide. DDK making a little mistake, getting very slippery there on the outside. We need to go back to this battle though, the battle for the podium. Pyan and Chrissy and Tap Shooter. This is actually nuts. All of a sudden, this race has come alive, as I was saying. And we've got 2 3-way battles here, right at the upper end of the points. You can see it actually smells of funk on the main straight there from that camera angle, just the difference in pace that these guys have had, the difference between the 2-stop and 1-stop strategies. Pyan makes a huge mistake there. Chrissy's going to get the move done here, easily ahead into the braking zone. His pace has been really good since the mistake. Chrissy sort of put the afterburners on. You can see he's in his fastest lap of the race. Just last lap actually. We'll see how good this one is for him. It is another 106, no it's not, it's just about a 107, still quicker than Tap Shooter. Pyan is going to have the pace in the Jag to go round the outside of Chrissy. Little bit of contact, but there's nothing in that there. No one losing any time or anything. It was just, 2 cars going for the same bit of track. Further back, Jack is storming ahead here, it looks like, of the chasing pack. Pyan right in the slipstream of Chrissy, still looking for a move, can't get it done. And now Owen is on the back of this battle here. What lap times has he been doing? He's been setting 106.7s. That's pretty much on par with what Chrissy has been doing. Andy and DDK, or not DDK, but more Andy, just looks like a bit of a bottleneck here. That looked like an outrageous lunge there. Let's have a look at that again. Not sure what really happened here. I just saw as the camera cut to the high one above the bridge, there was a car punting another one off. What happens? I think that's just about okay there. Outrageous dive from so far back, to be honest, but he did kind of get it stopped. And he was just going for the switchback, and sort of 2 cars came into one. Pyan right on the back of Chrissy as usual. I feel like that's all we've said. Pyan on the back of either Tap Shooter or Chrissy this race. Gets the move done up the inside. Still, these guys are right at the back of Tap Shooter. I did say that if these Jaguar teams work together, they'd definitely get a podium. It looks like they are working together a little bit more than last time round, but still, obviously not quite perfectly. I'm sure their team cohesion will improve throughout the season though, as they go too wide, blocking the road for the Porsche driver. Chrissy still manages to find a way to get alongside Pyan here. He's going to have the move down the inside backside, which is really smart actually, considering he's the one leading the championship right now. Just doesn't need to go for a crazy move, which could end in disaster. He'll just play it safe and take his time. Whereas, Pyan is a bit more desperate for the podium. Not a very good result last time out from the Turkish driver, who was another driver who sort of saw himself in this championship battle, along with people like Chrissy, Owen and DDK. Very slidey there from Chrissy. Owen has managed to get past Andy. He did manage to get that move to stick. Dzerbo he was setting very good times earlier, but his softs are dead. Sort of just a couple seconds between everyone here. There's another battle going on up ahead. It is a lapped driver, Mighty Mini Smiley, with Sir Hims. Tap Shooter losing the rear slightly there. Chris is going to have a look, but again, I'm assuming he's not going to make the moves. Very mature there from Chrissy. He's been driving absolutely fantastically today. Bar that little one mistake, he's probably been the class of the field in my book so far. Pyan as well has been another driver who's been fantastic, as well as Jack. These three have been absolutely fantastic. Chrissy and Tap side by side. Chrissy spins. The championship leader is off into the grass. And he drops all the way. How far is he going to drop? All the way down to P9. Leading up to this race, I believe Chrissy had podiums in 7 of his last 9 races, I think. The statistic was that I saw earlier in the week. And he's down in P11. That's going to cost him so many points, and he won't be leading the championship anymore if it stays like this. Owen's going to gain, well, P7 would be about 12 points. P11 would be 5. So Owen will be leading by about 3 points if things stay as they are. I'm not sure about that. I think that was probably just a racing incident there. I think it was just 2 cars coming into the same bit of track, trying to take different lines through the corner. I know the incident happened over the bumps. I'm not sure if that adds something to play into it, but I think we need to see that one back from multiple perspectives to make a decision. With just 1 minute to go in the race, Chrissy has gone from a fantastic points finish at P4 all the way down to P11, and this battle is still going on. Owen could make things even worse for Chrissy here if he comes up with some overtakes right in the back of DDK now, whose pace has been very solid. This is the final lap. Smells of Funk is going to come home for the lead. A fantastic drive from him, the McLaren driver. His first win of the season, a very, very poor sprint race earlier on. And yeah, he comes home for P1. Sir Hims, as we predicted, P2. We said these guys would be first and second based on their strategies. A very solid week for Sir Hims, which actually moves him to 3rd in the standings. Tap Shooter with a P3. That's his 2nd podium of the season, and I don't believe he managed one all season last time out. Payan in P4, Jack in P5, Owen in P6. Big points in the championship for him over Chrissy. Annie Winters in P9. Chrissy's up to 8th. Chrissy has gone from 11th to 8th in 1 lap, and that puts him level on points with Owen. Owen will be in 1st on countback. Chrissy in 2nd. Sir Hims will be in 3rd, and Pine in 4th place in the standings, followed by Jack. Deserba came 9th, Bo came 10th, Ross 11th. Poor race from him. Didn't really see much of him today. Woozy 12th. DDK came 13th. Where did that come from? He was fantastic all race. He was in P5 like a lap ago. Nobble's in 14th, and we've obviously lost Mini Mighty Smiley at some point after crossing the line in 15th, and 16th Reno King. I'm not sure what happened to him. He disappeared at some point. But yeah, that will be everything for the sprint race. A really, really interesting race. Smells of Funk and Sir Hims drove incredible races in this sprint race. Deserved P1 and 2. Tap Shooter with some incredibly defensive driving to hold out for the podium, and Payan in P4. That'll be all for tonight, and we'll see you guys next week for Road Atlanta. Bye bye.